Welcome to 2020's first Thinking Thursday. And this week, the topic of discussion is death. And kind of why are we as a people so fascinated, in love with, enamored by death? Why do we love it so much? That's really my question, and my question comes from the standpoint and from the basis of the topic of euthanasia. If you guys follow me at all closely, you know that I've talked about euthanasia before. But if you're kind of new, I'll kind of just jump in real quick to kind of describe what it is that euthanasia is. Euthanasia, if you will, comes in four forms. So you have active, you have passive, you have indirect, but then you also have what is called physician assisted. And so basically these are all forms of a person losing their life, aka committing suicide, aka deciding to die, and if you will, doing it on their own terms. The thing about this is, and what I want to hear from you guys on, is why do we say that it's okay for a person to take their own life by the hands, if you will, of a physician or a doctor, but if a person wants to do it on their own, that's not okay? Is it because we like the idea of it, and we think that it's okay, and we think that people should be able to do this? Because when I think of it, what I think of is kind of like if someone is struggling through life, they need people around them. They need people to tell them that they love them. They need people to encourage them. They need people to lift them up. They don't need people saying, hey, the feeling that you're feeling is okay, so let's just end it. It's like, that's not okay to do to another human being. And many times we see this in other forms within our society, but as we see it in these other different forms within our society, it's like, oh, that's how you're supposed to respond, or that's how you're supposed to treat a person, or that's how you're supposed to love. But then we don't do it when we allow laws to be passed, because 9 states allow physician-assisted suicide, euthanasia. And so it's like, how did that happen? Like, how is that possible? But then I also think about, well, we are the same culture that is fighting for the right to kill babies. Like, babies who aren't even here. And we are fighting for the right to kill babies after they're born. That is a horrific process where when you think about it, it's like, whoa, like you have to be a person that's like not stable to allow, as far as the doctors who do these processes. I'm not talking about the people, but the doctors who birth babies and then snap the neck of the baby. It's not described like that when people talk about it, but late-term abortions, you can look it up for yourself. That's exactly what a late-term abortion is. A late-term abortion is where the mother goes throughout the entire pregnancy, births the baby just as though she was going to keep the baby, and then the doctor takes the baby away, snaps the baby's neck, places the baby in a trash bag, and the baby is thrown away and just treated as though the baby was trash. And so when I think about our culture of death, we've created something that is far beyond us. We've created something that is huge. We've created something that we see a lot of times in movies that desensitizes us to it. But we have a responsibility to our neighbor. We have a responsibility to the people that we come, all of those that we come in contact with. And the question that I have for this week's Thinking Thursday is, why do we not feel the same about all death? Because a lot of times what we end up seeing on social media is that we only care about deaths that we're told to care about. And I kind of get that from a media standpoint. But people are dying every single day in some of the ways that I just described, as far as whether it be through the process of euthanasia, or whether it be through the form of abortion, whether it be through the form of late-term abortion. People are dying all the time. But we don't pay it any attention. Why is it that we don't pay it any attention? Why is it that we don't care as it pertains to some deaths, but then other deaths we do care about? I'm interested to hear from you guys. Leave your comments below